Hello everybody, it's Amy from Winterwood Studio and we have a super fun video today. It is budget art supplies that perform like expensive ones, and these are all supplies that I am using regularly right now in my art practice. So grab yourself something cozy to drink, come on in and let's have a nice cozy fun chat about art supplies. One of my favorite times, favorite days when we get to talk about art supplies. Okay, so hopefully my voice doesn't sound too bad. I'm still recovering from being sick, but today we're going to be talking about budget art supplies that perform well, are good quality, and are a joy to work with in your day-to-day art practice. And these are all supplies that I can vouch for and that I myself use and enjoy regularly. And I am not sponsored today. None of these are sponsored supplies. They are all ones that I'm actually using in my art practice. Let's get started. So the first thing that I recommend for budget water supplies is for all you watercolor artists out there. These are the Van Gogh watercolors. And as you can see, they are used and loved. All of these will be used because I'm using them. This is their little 12 sketch something. I don't know what it's called. At the time of buying this, I think it was roughly $25. And as you can see, I use it and love it. This is a little travel watercolor brush, and you can use the little thing on here to pop up this tray and you have more mixing underneath. In fact, let's see if I can do it or if I glued it down with paint. No, it came out real easy. So you just put it in the back there and you pop out your little... No, it's stuck. I got it, but I knocked one of the paint cups out. I'll get it. But so this whole little thing pops out, and as you can see, I've got a little swatch sheet that I made under there, and then you have room for more mixing. And this is actually, I think it came with it, so that you can swatch your colors. These are very nice watercolors. I do also have the Winsor & Newton pocket sketchbook thing, which is about the same price. They're a little chalky. They're a little hard to re-wet. If you're getting started with watercolors and for the most bang for your buck, I would suggest the Van Gogh. As you can see, these are used too, but not used as much. I had a lot of people asking, like, if you're getting started with watercolors and you want to buy a little pan set that are decent quality, what would I recommend for beginners? And that serious beginners will say, ones who want good quality paints, and I would definitely recommend the Van Gogh. I would like to, I think, at some point try their tubes. I haven't tried those yet. So that is my first supply. I should have probably included brushes, but oh well. All right, my next budget supply is the Pigma Micron pens. And as you can see, I have a bunch of them. There's one more expensive pen in there. Now, people don't realize, but these are actually really inexpensive. You can get a set of, I think it's like 6 for $11. Everything will be linked down below, so you can check it out yourself. Or you can buy them individually for like $2 at places like Blick Art Supplies. They are, in fact, here's a more expensive brand mixed in. I've pretty much given up using the expensive ones or trying to find the refillable ones or doing the technical pens and just use these. They are lovely. They never clog or dry out. I always wear the nib out before I wear the ink out. I highly recommend these for pen and ink work, or they're waterproof, so you can use them with watercolor. They come in all sorts of colors. My favorites are the brown and the sepia. I always say it wrong. Don't remember the right one anymore. Okay, so the next thing is a dupe for the Blackwing pencils. Now, these are a pretty good dupe for the Blackwing pencils. These are the Mitsubishi 9850HB, the red pencil with the white eraser. However, Mitsubishi makes another pencil that I feel is closer to a Blackwing dupe. I wrote it down. It's the Mitsubishi Pencil Uni 9800 pencil. So this is the 9850. The other one is the 9800, and it is a 2B. And I actually had a box like this of 12 and I used them all up. I don't even have it to show you anymore. So I'm showing you these ones so I have something to show you, and they're okay. But the best ones, the best dupes from Mitsubishi are the 9800, so much so that I used mine all up. They're really lovely pencils. If you've never used Blackwing, the reason people like them is because you can get basically from the lightest light to the darkest dark with one pencil instead of having to have, you know, the whole range of drawing pencils. You can just take one and mostly be able to do the whole thing. However, Blackwings are expensive. So I feel like these are pretty good dupes and a pretty good alternative to the Blackwings if you don't want to spend a whole lot of money per pencil. Okay, now surfaces. Going back to watercolor. For cold pressed watercolor, I'm sure you probably heard about this if you've been in the watercolor world for a while. Everybody knows about this. This is the Baohong Academy watercolor paper. It is probably the best low quality, not the best low quality, the best low price. Cold pressed watercolor paper. Oh, and there's a painting in there. The best low budget, not low, but they're medium budget, but it's a really good affordable alternative to something like Fabriano or Arches or any of those more expensive cold press papers. I use this a lot, and you can find it on Amazon and other places. It is takes water well, does not peel, reacts like you would expect 100% cotton watercolor paper to react. It's a very lovely paper. I do not enjoy their hot press. So I'm just going to say that right now. I do not enjoy the Baohong hot press paper. I've done multiple videos about it, but I have no qualms about recommending the cold press paper. It is a lovely cold press paper for not a lot of money. Okay. And still sticking with the whole watercolor. This is my most favorite sketchbook that doesn't break the bank for watercolor. Now, this is the Strathmore Mixed Media Sketchbook. However, it is 100% cotton. When I bought this sketchbook, it was $12. It was before all the crazy stuff happened money-wise, so I don't know what the price is now here in the United States. But when I bought it, it was, I think, like $12.95. And as you can see, it works excellently for watercolors. Just beautiful. The texture is nice, so you can do some nice pen and ink. It's good for just sketching with plain pencil. It works well. This is not my favorite thing, but it works well with watercolor pencil. I didn't really enjoy how that turned out. But it is by far the best, not super expensive watercolor sketchbook that you can get. It also comes in different sizes and also in the soft cover format. You've been here on my channel for a while. I've been recommending this for like 2 years now. Favorite watercolor sketchbook. All right, so for practicing, I do a lot of illustration type work with like gouache and watercolor as the base layer, and then colored pencil or pen and ink or Neocolor or oil pastels on top. And for that, I like to use a hot press paper. Now, this is a little controversial. This is the Strathmore. I have smaller pads, but this one was easy to get, so I grabbed it. This is the Strathmore Mixed Media Paper. Now, this is not 100% cotton, even though their sketchbook is. But this is the 400 series vellum surface for wet and dry media, acid-free. Now, this is actually 184 pound paper. So it's actually thicker than like Arches watercolor paper, which is 140 pounds. So it handles, I just bashed myself in the nose with it. Ow. If it starts to bleed, that's why. It handles, especially gouache. I mean, you're not going to get your like granulation and your watercolor special techniques like you would with like 100% cotton watercolor paper, but especially if I do use watercolor on it, but especially gouache. And for practice, I use watercolor on it all the time. It is affordable. It is inexpensive. I believe, I don't remember how this was, but I do know that I bought a gigantic roll. In fact, I'm going to go grab it. Okay, so hopefully this is the right end. So as you can see, this is the same paper. I'm still using up my big pads I got, but this is the same paper. This is 42 inches by 8 yards, 184 pounds. And at the time that I purchased this, it is February 2026 right now. I bought it in either July or August of 2025. At the time that I bought this, it was $32 for this giant roll. It was a ridiculously good price. Now, I have heard that the price has gone up some because of everything that is going on crazy in the United States with, I'm not going to say it because I don't want to get censored, but you know, hopefully the price will come back down. But when I bought this last summer, it was $32 or $34, I think, for this giant roll of 40 something by 8 yards. And the pads are very inexpensive too, and they come in a whole bunch of different sizes, and they're very enjoyable to work on. Again, great for mixed media, won't buckle, very sturdy, takes water well. One of my favorite papers. And then, let's see, sticking with paper. So, I do not recommend this for watercolor, but for practicing acrylic on, this has become my favorite paper. This is the Canson XL watercolor paper. This has a little bit of a texture, which makes it nice for multiple layers of acrylic. You can buy it in bulk, like packs of sheets and in huge pads all the way up to, I think, like 30 inches by something. I do 95% of my art supply shopping at Blick Art Materials. Again, not sponsored by them, but they are a family-owned company that happens to have a shipping hub right by me. So their free shipping gets to me in like 48 hours. So a lot of the prices that I'm quoting are from them. They generally have the best prices around that I've found. And I lost my train of thought. Anyway, I get almost all of my supplies from them. But I really love this paper for acrylic painting. There are videos from last summer where I spent the whole summer painting on this paper, like acrylics for practice. As you can see, my little art studio area isn't super big, and as much as I would like to always paint on canvas, there's only so much room to store the finished paintings. Paper stores well, and especially for practice, so I use it a lot, and I really enjoy it. It's been very enjoyable. I highly suggest you go back and look at some of those videos from the summer where I was painting on it. They're a lot of fun. Okay, so the next thing is affordable artist gouache. This is not acrylic gouache. This is artist gouache. This is the Meeden gouache paint set. And again, I have been sponsored by them in the past. This video is not sponsored by them. I genuinely use these all the time and like them very much. They are very nice artist gouache. You can see, let's see if I can get it out. You can see the tubes are starting to get used up in some spots. It is, and this is like my third set. So I highly enjoy this artist gouache for my base layer for my illustrations where I don't want acrylic gouache. It is easier to layer over this with things like colored pencil and Neocolor 2 and stuff than acrylic, because acrylic can be a little bit slippery, whereas this has a nice gritty velvety texture once dry, and it is very lovely for painting, for doing mixed media on top of. And you know what? I just thought of something else I'm going to add, even though it's not on my list. I'm going to go grab it. I will be right back. Okay, so we're actually going to have 15. I don't think I even had a number, but there's 15 inexpensive art supplies that I actually really enjoy. So if you're looking for a acrylic gouache, then I would highly recommend the Turner acrylic gouache. Now, the thing with this is it is light fast rated, and it is a decent acrylic gouache. However, I find that it does dry faster than other brands of more expensive acrylic gouache. So it's very important that you have, something like the, this is the Masterson's Stay Wet Handy Palette. This is the little small desktop size. You can see their big white and red one back there. I have two of those, one that I keep my oil palette in and one that I keep my acrylic palette in. And then when I'm using acrylic gouache, I use this to keep it, especially the Turner. You have to use something like this or a homemade one. If you don't, it just dries out so fast. so fast, and you want to keep a water bottle handy. However, the price is much cheaper than some of those other acrylic wash brands that we won't name that are lovely, but very expensive. So if you just don't have the budget for those super expensive ones, use those are fine. Just use either a homemade wet palette or buy a wet palette and keep a spray bottle of water handy and you'll be fine. So that was an extra one that I didn't have on there. All right, so then the next thing, acrylic paint. So I have two options here. If you're really on a budget and you want like a thicker, viscous, heavy body type acrylic paint, then again, not sponsored, but I do recommend, you can see very used. I recommend the Meeden Studio Acrylics. You can get them in tubes or in these big giant tubs. Let's see. They're light fast rated on the site. I don't know. I can't, there's something on here, but I can't read it and I don't have any of my reading glasses. But I do think there's stars and I think it says it's semi-transparent and it's PG7, I think. So they're light fast rated. You can see what the pigments are. They're a decent, thicker body paint. I like these. I know a lot of people will recommend like Liquitex Basics. I like these better than those. They're a little bit more pigmented, a little bit thicker, a little bit nicer to use. And then if you have a little bit more money to spend, then I highly recommend the Winsor Newton Galleria Acrylic. These are the student line, but they are very well pigmented. And they are light fast rated and they have the pigments on them. And this is the one that I recommend the most to beginners in acrylics. Just because, but it is just a touch more expensive than the Meeden. It's a little bit more pigmented, but it's a touch more expensive. So almost as good, much cheaper, a little bit better quality, a little more expensive. You guys can pick which one you want to use if you're getting started with acrylics. And then of course you'll need something to paint on. And this is my top recommendation for inexpensive canvases. So this is the Blick Studio. This is the 8x8. I just got them in the January sale. So they were on sale. And then if you buy more than 10, you get the bulk pricing. So I got these for like $2 a piece, $2.85 or something, $2.50. I don't know. But they come in all the sizes you could want. You can see that the back is very thick and nice. What does it say what these are? 3/4 solid wood frame. 7 ounce, 100% natural cotton duck, back stapled. The only thing with this is, I would recommend, again, not on my list, but I would recommend gessoing 2 coats on this, especially if you're going to use them with oil paints. It's less important with acrylic paints, but I do feel like they're a little bit absorbent. So I do like to do a coat or 2 of acrylic gesso. This is my favorite acrylic gesso. This is the Liquitex. It's like liquidy. There's a hole in the bottom. I duct taped it up. But this is the Liquitex acrylic gesso. And this is lovely. It's my favorite. You don't get tons of brush strokes. You don't have to sand. It's very nice. So lovely. Couple coats of this. You're good to go. Okay, so then speaking of oil paints, these aren't super budget, but they are nice. So I've been trying to find a cheaper alternative for people who want to get started with oil paint but don't want to buy professional paint. And so far, the best that I've found is the Gamblin 1980s. So, again, they're light fast rated. The pigments are on there. You can get, like, this is an actual cadmium. It's not hue. There's a tip for you. If it says cadmium red hue, it's not real cadmium. Cadmium's a heavy metal. If you're going to use it, make sure you take safety precautions. I've talked about that before on my site here. Be careful with your heavy metals. Anyway, the Gamblin 1980 is the best. I guess, student grade oil paint that I've found so far that isn't super frustrating to work with. The Winsor Newton Winton is a little bit cheaper, but I don't really like it, so I can't, in good conscience, recommend it. Oil paints are expensive no matter how you look at it. But those are the best for if you want to get started, but you don't want to break the bank. And like I said, they're much cheaper than regular Gamblin. And oddly, they are a little creamier than actual Gamblin. So I find you have to use a whole lot less medium with them. So that helps too, as far as not having to buy additional supplies. So, okay. So then my most favorite sketchbook happens to be very inexpensive, but also my most favorite sketchbooks. These are all the different sizes of the Royal Talons, Art Creation Sketchbook. And I like to decorate the covers. The covers decorate very nicely if you're into that sort of thing. But they come in like little itty bitty sizes like these. You can see compared to my head. My head's big though, so it'll make everything look smaller than they actually are. Fun fact, when I graduated high school, I had to order their graduation cap in the largest size that they made. And even then, with the XXL, which like was for like the big football players, the cap would like go like this and start to ride up during the ceremony. And I kept having to pull it down. So don't judge how big or small these are by my head, because I have a ginormous head. Anyway, let's see. So let's see if we can. So this one has a lot of alcohol marker in it, so it handles a little bit of bleed through, not terrible. I think still alcohol marker. I was in an alcohol marker phase. I'm trying to find something that's not alcohol marker. This is also, it's all alcohol marker. All right, let's take a look at some of what's in this one. This is watercolor. And let's see, that's just pen. This is watercolor and Neocolor 2, I think. Let's see, that's just pencil. This is water marker. That one pilled a little bit, but it wasn't terrible. This is watercolor again. So the handle, this is gouache and colored pencil on this side, and then this is just colored pencil. So it does handle different mediums very well. The pages don't buckle. This is my swatching one. I mean, they buckle some, but not terrible. And I don't mind it. And if I'm doing something that might smudge, I'll just put a piece of paper in between. I think this is a special one that I can't show you the stuff in because it was for a different project. All right, I just grabbed this one because I know it's got a lot of different stuff in it. So we'll just do a quick sort of sketchbook flip through so you can see what it handles. This is alcohol marker again. And then let's see, more alcohol marker. This is soft pastel, and this was golden soft pastel ground painted on here, then multiple layers of soft chalk pastel, and then fixative over it, 3 layers, and you can see it handled it just fine. The very next page, is just pure acrylic paint. Like full-on acrylic paint just splashed right on there, and again, handled it just fine. And then we've got acrylic paint as a base with Neocolor 2 and colored pencils. Again, handled it just fine. Okay, so this one is gouache up here, and this is water markers down here. Again, handled it absolutely spectacularly. This is lots of layers of gouache and then Neocolor 2. This is acrylic, Neocolor 2, and colored pencil. Okay, we're skipping ahead here a couple pages. So this is charcoal with fixative, and then Puron Mungio oil pastels with fixative, and then watercolor and Neocolor 2. So handles everything like a champ. And the best part is how inexpensive they are. It's been a while since I got a new one. I used to get this largest size for like $12 to $14. This size used to run about $7. And then these two used to run about $5. Hopefully they're still like that. I don't know. I haven't got any in a while. So, those are the Royal Talents sketchbooks. And then we're on to the very last thing. And these are the Jinhao medium fountain pens. Okay. So if you ever want to use a fountain pen with, waterproof ink and you're worried about clogging your good fountain pens, I would try using these. They look nice, don't they? These are $7 a piece on Amazon. And I've been buying them for years, like 4 or 5 years now. And I have multiple, and I've not had one clog once, even though the pigment based inks usually do clog and ruin pens. I just take everything apart and soak them in some warm water and it all gets fixed. They feel nice and heavy. They're solid in the hand. They're constructed really well. They've got a nice screw top. I highly recommend these. They are a little bit of a thicker line. It says medium. I might say they're a little bit more than medium. I don't think they come in fine, but you could always look. But for $7 for a pen to throw in your bag for sketching like outside or when you're traveling or whatever, these are absolutely great. I've also never had one leak on me yet. The only time I ever had any problem with one was when I dropped it on the floor when the cap was off and I bent the nib, but that was my fault. That wasn't the pen's fault. All right, so those are the inexpensive budget art supplies that I am using and loving in my day-to-day practice and enjoying very much. I hope you found something new or something fun that you would like to try. If you'd like to check out my Patreon where we go behind the scenes and do lots of different projects and art challenges, and I share stuff there that I don't feel comfortable sharing here, my Patreon, the Wild Brush Circle, will be linked down below if you want to check it out. And if you haven't hit like or subscribe yet or left a comment, I would love it if you did. It is a free, no-cost way for you to help support my channel and help YouTube know my videos are not crap. So thank you for being here with me today. And until next time, happy creating.